keep putting out information, keep putting out valuable content to others that want to learn just like you, because there are a lot of people just like you out there, and they need you. They need your fullest expression, and try to make money doing it. Don't shy away from the monetization of things. Making money doing it allows it to be spread further. You know,
Yes.
it's like you build the resources, you build the organization so that more people can hear it, more people receive it, more people will get the value that you have to offer, and that is a beautiful thing. And you know, we don't live in an thank you so much, Von Christ. I am Mr. Travis Gray. I have been in this field of transpersonal psychology the last 10 years. So I'm a doctoral student. I'll be completing
Yeah.
my PhD fairly soon. That Mr. Travis Gray will be Dr. Travis Gray very soon. And I also have
That's
a
great.
podcast, Gray Transforms, where I speak to academics and transformational specialists and just spiritual professionals in this field of transpersonal psychology or in areas that are kind of connected to it. And the podcast has been going very well. And I'm a counselor. I'm a coach. I have a therapy practice. I do many other things. I wear a lot of hats for my university. I'm a teacher there as well. So I do a lot of those things.
So that's great. So I mean, what actually, because like when I post about this topic, what make you kind of like want to jump into that? Like, what was the first thing you feel like you can actually relate to that?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
something like you went to that stage as well? Yeah. Go on.
Absolutely. So I moved to the Bay Area. I moved to California 10 years ago. At the time, I
Yeah.
was I was in and out of jail from age 17 to 21. I was in and out of jail twice a year. I was just constantly recognizing that I'm in this pattern. I'm in this loop. I need to get out of that. And then I moved to the Bay Area. I was lucky. This is a long story short, but at first I was some of the things that we just talked about before this started recording is like I was fearful to tell my story. I was scared to write it on an application for a job, things like this. And I thought I was going to be in and out of jail for the rest of my life. I had to make this big change. I moved to the Bay Area, and I followed this path of this transpersonal psychology, this field that I'm involved in now. And when I originally moved here, I wanted to start this the whole time. I would have loved to be a content creator 10 years ago, and I wanted to. And I even have some of these old videos where I attempted to, and like the background wasn't good enough. I had all of these excuses. The timing wasn't right. Just all these excuses. And at some point, I realized by giving other people, oftentimes the value that we give to others is the value that we actually need for ourselves. And at one time, I was asked, what is the best advice for a master's degree of counseling psychology student? What is the best advice that I could give them? And it was that you are already the thing. You are the piece of content that all of your listeners and audience, all of them need you. They just need your expression. And then there's other obstacles, there's other challenges, but one step at a time, one post at a time, one podcast at a time, you add a little bit of, extra value. You learn a new skill, you learn this new piece to plug in, and then it grows. You grow.
Yeah, I think there's one thing like you just say when you say about you are. I think you can repeat yourself. You say something about you are. I mean, what did you just say now? When you say like I mean, when you say something like you're already that person that
You're
people are
already
actually
it.
looking for.
Like you don't
Yeah.
have to wait for a piece of paper. A lot of people are waiting for a piece of paper. They're waiting for a credential. They're waiting for some sort of affirming external affirmation, some external person or some sort of like, oh yeah, you've made it. I've often used this metaphor in meditation. I have a deep meditation that I facilitate a lot of my initial clients. We go through this one deep meditation right off the bat. But at the end of this meditation, I speak about this aspect of we're sort of like an egg with a crack in it. And this egg, we're always in our lives, we're trying to fill the crack. We're trying to fill the crack with a piece of paper or a certificate or just something that will make it feel whole. So we're looking outside of ourselves to fill this crack. But what you really find out is that you are not the shell of the egg. You are everything inside that egg. So you don't need this external thing to add to it to be whole, to have arrived. Like if I get this piece of paper, then once I get that PhD, once I get that expensive piece of paper, then I will be Travis Gray and I will finally have arrived. But that's not how it works. You are already the thing.
I mean, like I completely agree with you actually, because sometimes we, as you say, we give people a value that we actually want to give to ourselves. What I realized with myself, like I actually expose other people more. Expose. I don't know if he exposes the right words, but like I give value to other people, like my guests or anybody on my show. I give them a lot of value. When I have my content, I put people always out there. I actually struggle to kind of like pull myself, so I value myself based on my own content, based on my personal information. Of course, I'm learning from other people as well. But when you feel confident that you have a lot of knowledge and then be able to kind of like put yourself out there as yourself, not to try to shadow behind people. So I think a lot of people actually have that kind of issue. So what do you think? I don't know if you ever come across this kind of, feeling as well.
Yeah, Fun Christ. Over the last years that you've been doing this podcast, you've been putting on a really great show. You've had these guests. Well, you haven't had to reveal everything that you know, or along the journey, you're still continuing to learn. You're growing every day. Every day, you're growing another subscriber, another aspect of yourself. You're learning a new trick. You're learning new information that is adding to the value that you are able to give to others. And along that journey, having these guests on your podcast, that means you don't have to, you get to learn at the same time of having those guests. You're learning from them,
exactly.
more value that you get to give to others. And now it's not so much that the light is shined on you, but the light is on them. And they're getting an opportunity to do all of those great things. Sorry about the
no, it's fine.
I got a call in the middle of that.
Yeah,
she's gonna keep calling me too. So you get this opportunity to spotlight the guest, and then you become associated with the same information, that great information, the great value that those people are giving your show in the Better Yourself podcast, the great value that they're giving you, the audience. You get to be associated with that information, and that is an honor. That is a beautiful thing. I have such amazing guests, and I'm sure you have as well on the Better Yourself podcast, and it's such an honor.
Yeah, I think it actually happened to me as well. Like, we all have like a lot of guests we podcast, and we actually people out there. We had a conversation as well. But how do you, with your client, how do you kind of like not like remove the fact people can actually judge you, especially when you're a content creator? I see a lot of people, actually artists as well. You're a singer, and then you got to be more careful about what you say, your opinion. How do you kind of separate yourself with the person that you used to be before, or with just like the person that you are? Absolutely. Or do you have to connect those people together?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I had mentioned before, I have a history. I have a dark history. I have a history of in and out of jail.
The example is good because, like, your example is good because, as you say, you keep mentioning like you've been to jail. People have certain opinions. Society have a certain opinion of people that have been to jail before.
Sure.
They can actually judge you without even knowing your story. And then, based on what you're actually saying and what you see online as well about you, you are a person actually helping people a lot. You're coaching people, you're helping people, but some people, they don't really gonna take into consideration in the first way, because they're gonna be like, this guy been to jail, maybe been doing a lot of stuff. Why does he have to teach us? I think the fact you across that path, you become the person that you are today. I think, I think you are the right person to kind of answer that question. So
Yeah,
how do you do that?
You're the right person for the right job because you have taken your story, your dark history. You have allowed that to be a part of you, and in a way that is relatable to others. We have all had hard times. We've all went through some suffering circumstances that did not serve our best interests, around people that were not serving our best interests, in and out of patterns that were not serving our best interests. And that dark history, when it's integrated, when it's a part of you, when you accept it, when you've truly accepted your history, you can be open. I have been afraid. I have been like in the closet. I have been kind of like in a shell, like trying to hide myself from others. And at some point I was able to be expressed, to be free, so that I now I don't have to hide anything. You could ask me any question on this podcast, and I am sure that none of it would be something that I need to shy away from. Well, how does that happen? How does that evolution happen? Well, it happens with trial and error and experience, but you can get there faster. It doesn't need to take you 10 years. You can get there faster by being around people that have that same freedom of expression in themselves. Like, you are the closest 5 people around you. You want to be the closest people around you. You want them to have the qualities that you want to express in yourself. Like you find a man and you're like, oh wow, this is my brother. I want to be around him because he is patient, because he is grateful, because he is nice to people. People respect him. People respect him in the community. He is strong. This is somebody I want to be around because I want to be like this person. And then you look at your immediate circle. Some of the people that are watching this right now look at their immediate circle and they're like, there's a lot of qualities in some of these people that I am continuing to hang around that are not serving my best interests. These are not qualities that I want to have. But just like I was saying before, the guests that you're having on the podcast, you're associated with that information in your life. You're associated with those qualities. You might not explicitly be displaying some of the bad habits of the people around you, but some of those bad habits are infecting your life as well. So you look at your immediate circle. You want to be around people that are inspiring that in you, that freedom of expression in you. Maybe other content creators or other people that are willing to do those things in different areas of their life. There's also a humanist psychologist. So he's a psychologist of humanistic psychology. His name is Dr. Carl Rogers. He's passed away now, but in the 70s, 80s, he was around. Carl Rogers, he spoke about what the fully functioning person is. He had a really wonderful way of doing psychotherapy where he was facilitating a space of unconditional positive regard for other people. Unconditional positive regard. You don't have that in your everyday relationships. You might have that with really great family members. Some of your family members are still not going to be self-aware enough and empathic enough to your situation to be there. But if you have some of those really great, you're really great. Oh man, I have the best father, I have the best mother, I have the best uncle, I have the best. That person is probably giving you a sense of this facilitating a space of unconditional positive regard for yourself. I growing up, I didn't have that. I didn't have any of those things. And so it took me a long time. It doesn't need to take you a long time. You can get around somebody that has already done some of this work. Well, Carl Rogers found that the fully functioning person, so how he defined the fully functioning person, one of the things was to not have defenses. That your defenses, the ways that you go into a situation and feel yourself shy away, those defenses, everything that you're defending your heart against, defending your mind against, or you have some information, but you're locking it away and you don't want to share it with anybody. That is a defense. You're like, oh man, somebody might steal. Somebody might watch this and see what Mr. Travis Gray said. Mr. Travis Gray and Fallen Christ that they were speaking, and now I want a Yourself Better podcast. I want to steal that. If you're always scared of that, those are defenses that are going to block your ability to express yourself. So you're go into situations where you can begin to learn how to lower your defenses in a safe manner and become stronger because of it.
Yeah, I think that's very well explained. Actually, as you say, I think you have to be able to kind of put yourself out there, and then be confident as well about whatever information that you have. I think it comes with a lot of self belief as well. Because
Well,
if you don't do that,
you do need to be confident. You do need to be confident that you know what you know, that the information that you have is accurate. Nobody knows everything, so you might not have all the information that somebody else has. So you're confident in, like, the confidence comes from accepting yourself. So you are confident in accepting yourself. I am who I am as I am, and that is perfectly okay. If anybody judges me, that is something about their wounding. That is something about their constitution is somehow, it's broken. It's somehow messed up, but they're going through some of the same inner work that I have been going through. But I am now not judging others. I am not caring to be judged by others because I know who I am. And so, it's just when you say that, just be confident and get out there, that sort of thing can be said to anybody. And people get defensive against that too. Because it is true. You be confident and go out there, but to get there, you take little steps. You go out once, you go out twice, you take little steps, and you start to share. Like, if you have something in your history that you're maybe afraid, maybe a little defensive to share, well try sharing it with a therapist. Try sharing it with a mentor, a coach, somebody that is in a very safe space that you can share it with them. And then when you've practiced sharing it with them, and sort of reiterated, reauthored the story to best serve your life, then you can begin to open up the story to others. Now, maybe I speak to my close loved ones, and then my friends, and maybe they didn't know this about me, and then it starts to then you start to become an inspiration for others. You start to, oh wow, I was able to share my story.
I think that's when
others to share there.
Yeah, I agree where the inspiration comes from, because becoming a people inspiration, you have to be able to tell your own story, because people believe you when you actually went to that path and you become that person. You're actually speaking based on your opinion as well. I think that's a very powerful thing. That's the reason why I think most people, we should actually not be ashamed of our past, or whatever people feel about us. I think we see something like we should just what advice can you give people? I mean, how long you been doing your podcast? How long you been doing that for?
The podcast is
can you hear me?
Yeah, it started at the end of 2022. And what I did to start is I had already recorded some of these meetings that I created these spaces where some students from my university, we were getting together to talk to a professional in the field about their journey, and I had some sort of guiding questions, but really it was more about them sharing their story for like an hour. They would have like a good spiel, and then maybe the group of students would ask questions, and I took those recordings and I posted those all together. I had like 6 of them. I posted those all together because that gave me some momentum. Now it's like, oh, I have some content out there. When you start your YouTube channel, your Facebook page, or whatever, and you have no videos, it's really hard to get the first one.
Yeah.
It's really hard to publish that first one. I was, like I said, 10 years ago when I moved here, I had some of these. I have them in the like the very first place that I lived when I was here. I have like it's like funny backgrounds. I look so young 10 years ago. I had full hair. I had no beard, and you know it was just so different. But I was just afraid. It was good information, but I was afraid to share it. And really, it's the content, it's the good information that is most valuable, not what you look like, not what the background looks like, not what any of that looks like. But it is only easy for you or I to say that now because we have done it, because we've
Mm.
experienced it. Yeah, it's true. It doesn't matter about what it all looks like. It more matters what the content is.
So what do you think because there's a lot of content creator right now. What do you think the whole purpose of it? Do you think like people that create content, I feel like we have something that we feel like we need to share something, we need to give something to the world.
Yeah.
For me, it's like the reason why I started doing a podcast is because my Facebook is always busy. I have 1,000 people on my Facebook, and every time I post something, my opinion always been very, very it makes some people uncomfortable, but I always speak my mind freely because we live in a society where it's very hard for people to kind of express themselves freely. So I've been sharing things a lot. I say to myself, you know what, I need a platform. I want to put all that energy together where people, if they want to have some resources, they just come and actually have it. And this is actually how I start my podcast. It just started then, and now I'm actually on 139 episodes, so published
Amazing.
already. So that's quite
Congratulations, Paul Christ. That
yeah,
is so hard to do.
yeah, it's a lot because when you think about it, like people always say, even to reach 5 episodes is hard. People stop like at 3 or 4 because to keep that momentum, I think that's a very, very hard thing. But do you think people that create content like ourselves, I'm talking about because my content is more based on anything that help you to grow better yourself. I want to put like a positive content out there. So when you put positive content, is not really money driven and start when you do that, because when you do the content that just want to talk about everything trending, yeah. But when you talk about things that help people to grow life, everything, most of the time is always come from personal experience or from a life purpose. I don't know if you can actually agree with me. What do you think?
Yeah. I want to say that, like, you know, it's amazing. Another congratulations for you have gotten so far. And
Mm.
and there's some contradictory things to like this conversation. Maybe things that I said right now. I just said, oh, it's just put that stuff out there. We were just talking about that, and at the same
Yeah.
time said, oh, wow, that's really hard to do to get on. Well, the thing is that one episode you could maybe get one episode done in 3 hours. 1 hour to film it, 1 hour and a half to create the production on it, cut it up
Mm.
and slice it up, whatever, and then maybe 30 minutes to upload and get it all out there. So in 3 hours you could have one episode.
And then
But to do
and then
that
ads as
100
well. Like,
times,
mm,
it's hard. It's hard, but it became easier because you don't put out 100 episodes at one time. You put
mm,
100 episodes over a span of time, and then that's how it goes. So like as a package, that's hard to do. If it was just one, it's much easier. It's 100 times easier. But so yes, content creators, we it feels like a saturated market. It feels like, well, everybody's creating content. Why should I be adding to just this saturated pool of stuff? Well, that comes back to the confidence in your own information, that like your information is accurate. Why wouldn't you share accurate information? We are social beings. In tribal days, it would be foolish for you not to share some good information, some good wisdom that you find valuable to your other tribesmen. And we can't live in a scarcity mindset where like, oh, we're just this is only going to get to the people in my neighborhood, and then nobody else is going to hear this, so why do I even bother? We can't live in that scarcity mindset. There are so many people in the world. You will never reach every single human being. And
I like it. Yeah.
you have to start to accept that. You will never reach every single human being. And you should try to reach as many people as you can. If you have something of
I think
value to
there's
better
always
that
people
person's life.
for somebody. Yeah, it's never gonna be like people have done enough. You have no space there. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it makes sense because sometimes we think like the market is so saturated. Like there's so many people that know that it's like, but do you never come across as when you see people that actually creating content compared to you, you feel like the growth are actually they're more exposed, and you feel like maybe your content is good, but it doesn't have as much impact. Does it even cross your mind something like that as well? That kind of make you like doubt on yourself because you can have the good content, you can have great people on your show, but if your show is actually lacking that exposure, like that number of download or whatever, does it ever cross your mind? Like, how do you deal with that?
yeah, it's frustrating. It's like, man, I
Mm.
had that really good episode. I went and celebrated my birthday in Costa Rica this past March. So like at the end of February, my birthday is at the end of February, and then going into March. I had celebrated my birthday in Costa Rica, and I thought, oh well, how cool would it be to post this really awesome conversation on my birthday and to do it while I'm in Costa Rica? And systems make that possible. So what I was saying just right before that too about it takes 3 hours. Well, all the episodes that you've created, systems is what makes that possible. Also, like that's what gives you your time back. All of those things. So I thought, oh well, I have this system in place. It's going to publish when I need it to publish, and so it published this great conversation with an independent rap legend, Futuristic. He is incredible, and he had great wisdom. Our conversation was phenomenal. It doesn't have a lot of views. This conversation is like it's like and to get him to share it to his he's got 100 he's got like 1 million views, but it was hard enough work to get him on the podcast, and then
Mhm.
trying to get him to share it is like, well, he's interested in sharing it, he likes it, but it's not his platform, so he's not bothering to share that, and so it gets frustrating. But that conversation is going to be on the internet for as long as the internet exists, so potentially forever. That is on there. They will get to see it. If you ever look on YouTube, if you ever watch YouTube, my podcast is on YouTube, Spotify. It's on these other places as well. But if you ever, I just love YouTube, and if you ever go on there, you will see in your history or in your recommendations, it'll be like 2 years ago. It'll recommend you a video from 2 years ago because there is so much content that it needs to supply you with stuff from past that hasn't been seen yet. So there is a conversation, there is a piece of content that you are producing, that you're posting out there that just hasn't been heard. There's somebody that needs that piece of information and they have not heard it yet because it's not
Mm.
time to hear it, but they're going to hear it a year from now, and it's going to inspire them to do something, to reach out to you, and all that.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is true because I have one person. I think I was talking about ancestor, like because I'm very spiritual as well. I was saying something like, you know what, we should believe in our ancestor. They know our God, something like that, right?
Yeah.
I went online. I just wanted to have people's opinion, right? And I went online. I tapped on Google, on YouTube, and I saw a video of somebody was talking about it. But what it was saying was so deep, and I was like, man, this is like. And what I did, I got in touch with the person on YouTube. I just read him, or listen, man, like I like what he did. I want us to get in touch, but I want you to go deeper into what he just said. And he's like, good, you give me the Instagram, we talk, and for like a week, set up, boom, I have him on my podcast. And guess what? When I have him on my podcast, we start talking. I went back to this video. I tell him about, okay, you know what? Tell me more about this. And he's like, yo, I just can't believe like this these things that I say, it was because I think it was like born again Christian. He told me like it was when I was born again, but it was like I just say because I just feel that fire on me. I just want to express myself really hard. But it's a video that I recall like 2 years ago. I don't remember exactly what I was saying,
Right.
but you know what? I still have the same mindset and everything. It just coming back to what you just say, like you record something 2 years ago, maybe something was sitting there and nobody really did appreciate or say anything about what you say, and then 2 years later somebody just texts you, and then when I was talking about him, I can see on his face he was so happy, like I was talking about his journey or things that I see. I was talking about him. I can see his face, he was so happy. But and then again, it's because he left something there that he do like 2 years ago. It's just because i, I wasn't I wasn't thinking about it maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. I
Yeah.
just like wait for the right time to kind of like, and it just happened. So
Yeah, you
yeah.
know, and if you had like a great podcast conversation with him, and say this conversation happened a year ago, but it didn't get a
Mm,
lot of views. If you were to stop there, well, this only got a few views, and
mm,
I guess I'm just going to quit now. Nobody is ever going to see that because you are not creating a trail for them to reach that information. So the more that you produce, this is why it works. This is why this podcast world works, is because you continue to put out these conversations, and then people, they finally, they come across one eventually, whatever.
one, yeah.
And that one, they start to like, I want to look at some of these other ones. Oh, this topic looks interesting. This person looks interesting. Let me dive into that. Oh, I've been looking for this information, and then it unfolds. It's momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you. And now we record an episode. I have a lot of people following him because he was on my show,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. And now we just we keep in touch, or we actually keep talking. So how do you pass actually to the you move from the learning bit to the growth bit now? How do you do that? Your transition
Yeah. The learning bit to the growth bit. How do I
yes,
transition from learning how
from
to
just
put the podcast
yeah, how
together?
to do the podcast, how to do a
Mhm.
content creator,
Yeah.
and until you become like because sometimes we do a lot of things, we actually good at something, but after that you want to kind of like grow and then expose yourself more. So how do
Yeah.
you actually do that? I mean, when it comes to yourself, not
Yeah.
just the podcast, just in general, because I believe your journey was quite vast based on
Yeah.
your story in jail and all that thing as well. How did you kind of like break from your past,
Yeah.
the person that you was before?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you start by getting information, and
Mm,
then when you are confident and accepting of what you have, then you start to apply it. You start to walk the walk. If you are not, it's like, somebody's holding this information and not practicing the practices. Like some of the spiritual traditions have been very much about practicing the practice, and
mm,
and and so having the information is one thing, but actually applying that information is another thing. And the more that you apply it, the more that you create a neural pathway. The neurophysiology of the human brain will create that neural pathway. It'll get easier to do those things, to produce
mm,
that stuff, to put the content out there. And then you're creating also a physical system. You're also thinking about, okay, well, this took me an hour and a half. How can I break that down into 1 hour? How can this production take only 1 hour instead of an hour and a half, so I get 30 minutes back, so that I can use that extra 30 minutes to apply to, sharing this to another platform, or to breaking down the content to share it to more platforms, and keep growing that way. But it's the development of systems that allows your growth to actually expand. And so you're right now, anyone that's listening to this, watching this right now, that you're sitting on whatever systems you have or don't have right now, but you
mm,
have to work with what you have right now. And then every step, add a little thing, add something. Start and then once you've like gotten your foundation of systems down, then you're trying to learn about growth. Now you want to learn about monetization. You want to learn about how to make money doing this thing. This is a business. If you're getting into podcasts or content creation, I sincerely believe that everyone on planet Earth is a brand, is a potential business, and should treat their lives like a business. You have your personal life and you have your professional life. And to work for somebody else is great, but to have a business that is working for somebody else's business, that is feeding the community. That is irrigation. That's irrigating and cycling and generative to those around you. When you are an organization helping an organization to help the whole, to help the community. So your systems, putting those in place, that is what helps you grow. You're going to learn something along the journey about, I found recently, I was experimenting. It was like, oh, I'm going to post, on Monday, on Tuesday, I'm going to post Thursday, Friday. I tried one on Saturday. I tried one on Sunday. I did one with a minister. So I thought, oh, maybe that would be a good one to post on Sunday. And that was all wrong. So I found the best day to post for me was Tuesday. So right now, today is Tuesday. We're having this conversation right now. I have a system in place that there is a podcast.
Like me, my day is actually Friday. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, because like me, my day is actually Friday. I always like post on Friday.
Right.
Most of my episodes as well.
You figure out your community. You figure out when they're listening to you and things like this. Not everybody's going to listen on Friday, but the more people that listen to it on Friday, the more potential that there's going to be more people listening to it on Saturday, on Sunday. And I found like the best day seems to be Tuesday for me to publish that podcast. And
why do you think?
One growth tip that I learned, and then I built that into my system, and then it's trial and error. There's a lot of books. I really love books.
Why do you think is it Tuesday like the best day for you?
Why Tuesday? I think I just read that podcasts are best viewed on Tuesdays.
Because when you say about it, I think you're gone.
Yeah. Sorry, and so part of that is it's like it's at the beginning of the work week, so it gives the published episode, that conversation, it gives it time to like get into the sphere of influence for people. So it gives it time during the week to like grow. So now it posted on Tuesday. Monday's a busy work day. Maybe somebody's got something to watch or whatever. But Tuesdays, there's not a lot going on. So now you posted on Tuesday, maybe Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening. Right now, I'm trying Tuesday afternoon for this one today. So it's like you find that time on Tuesday. I know that a lot of my audience, they work. So maybe would be willing to listen to it after work. So now I'm like trying to pop it into their time where they're maybe going to be on their phone or on YouTube or willing to check out, have the time and space to check out that conversation. And so now it's going to grow throughout that week: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A lot of people these days, people are trying to get off of social media. People are. I mean, that's like I'm drowning in my addiction to social media sometimes, and so I'm trying to. How do I get off this thing? Well, I'm not going to be on it too much on Sunday. That's just a fact. And if people are interested in my conversation, if it's my audience, they're probably not interested on Sunday either.
Yeah. Go ahead. What I was saying, right? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I was saying, like, I think everything is just information, because before I used to think about Friday, because I would say to myself, I think Friday is fine because people actually finish work, just have time, whatever. But when you think about it, Friday, people want to be out, have a drink, chill at home, spend time with their family, just put the phone away. It's more like, I'm looking forward to the weekend. It makes sense. Because podcasts, the only good thing about Friday I can say is when I was thinking about doing like live as well. I think live is good for a Friday. People want to sit down and watch things. Maybe, a lot of people are connected on Friday, but it doesn't mean like they're going to listen to podcasts.
Yeah. If it was a live show, a live Friday show, in like the early afternoon before people are deciding to go out, but they, maybe a lot of people may be taking an early day off of work. You just got to think in the mind of your potential audience and like your avatar and stuff like that. The people that are maybe thinking about creating podcasts, write a list of of guests that you would like to have on your podcast. You know, like and go as big as you want to go and give it a shot. Try to get them on. And maybe you don't get them on this time, the first time that you reach out, maybe not the second time or the third time, but you just keep them on that list. And it gives you an idea of the kinds of guests that you want to have. And it gives you the idea of the kinds of audiences that you're going to have. You're probably going to have somebody in your similar age range. And all of those things are going to inform you on like when to put this out. So you're right, like a live on Friday, but maybe like, you know, early, mid-afternoon would be great. And then people will check that out. But if you post on Friday and it's a pre-recorded conversation, and say some of the people don't watch it on Friday, but then those same people that are probably not watching it on Friday, they're probably busy on Saturday too. They're probably busy on Sunday. So now you've had 3 days where people are not even, like, nobody's watching it. So now it's like, well, why does the algorithm, you know, when we're battling against the algorithm, that is we have to reverse engineer it. Like, how do we inform the algorithm what we want to see? When do you most watch podcasts? When do you most watch other people's podcasts? Do you watch it on Friday? Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I think it's more like on my way to work in the morning. Yeah. So
yeah. So
you have to be in
on
a
my
week.
way to work, morning. So then that is when I want my podcast to be. I want it.
Maybe sometimes I listen to like
so that I even like I want it to come up in my feed so that it tells me, oh, hey, I've posted this new podcast. I want to listen to my own podcast.
Sure. Do you listen to your own podcast a lot as well?
I try to. I mean, I'm already in the conversation and I'm listening to it during production. But I do want to read, because I know that information. I know it's so valuable for others. If I'm not you know, if I'm not eating my own product, if I'm not you know, taking in my own content, then do I really believe in it? So yes,
True.
I like
do a
to
lot.
watch.
At least it's crazy because I listen to my podcast a lot. Actually, is sometimes I was like, yo, I need to slow down because also I'm gonna increase the view based on myself. You know what I mean? So I think it's it's very good to do that. But do you do like live as well?
I haven't done any live conversations yet, but those first 6 posts that I mentioned earlier, that I had this group of content that was published as a part of my Getting Momentum. Those were live conversation, like with a group of people. But I haven't done it. I haven't like published a live podcast.
With today's society, as you know, like, you know, being politically correct is actually one of the thing that society is pushing it to kind of like, I know you are not, I think you are not too much into politics. You are more into like anything spirituality or, you know, such. But even when it comes to spirituality as well, there's a lot of taboo. And you know, when it comes to religion, different religion, being religious and being spiritually, and the different type of religion as well. So do you think like you are struggling as well to express yourself based on that because of the way society have become? I think you think like it's more, I think like podcaster, we have become we are like the new comedian, not as we are spreading comedy, like, you know, funny stuff there, but like the way comedian actually struggle with making people laugh just because they want to say things freely to make people laugh, but now they are forced to kind of like censor themselves or trying to be politically correct. But is when they do that, the whole comedian, like the whole comedy, the whole jokes is not organic anymore. It sounds so mechanic, and then it even doesn't make them become them. I mean, you know, just like being themselves. Do you feel like we are there as well? Is it something like you see as well?
Yeah, you know, it reminds me of like being nice versus being kind. People that are kind, that is a way of being. But people that are nice are putting on a mask. They're putting on face for other people. I've never really met anybody that was like, I really value political correctness. I think that people don't value political correctness. They just believe that they have to be politically correct for other people because they're worried about the judgment. They're worried about, those early questions that you were just asking me in this conversation. They're worried about other people seeing them in a negative light and then how they're going to be judged. Man, if I had to just be politically correct all the time, I wouldn't be myself. I'm Mr. Travis Gray. Like I'm in the gray area. I can't worry about being politically correct. I have enough confidence in my kindness and my way of being in the world. I have enough confidence in who I am that I am not out to hurt others. I am out to give value to others. I listen to a lot of rap music. I have some posts that are kind of like entertaining. Maybe it's more for me. Maybe I just enjoy it. So I've recently even worried about like, oh, if I post this, and maybe I want to get this politician on the podcast. Will they even want to get on my platform because they might be worried that it'll influence them in some negative way? But I can't be worried about that. I am a scholar. I am a gentleman. I am a scholar. I have value to offer people. I am kind. I do not want to hurt others. I want to have really deep, profound conversations that are influencing transformation in other people in our collective humanity. And if those are my values, I don't have to worry about political correctness.
But because sometimes your value, the one you want, whatever you want to say, but whatever you believe like is your value, even if you think like you're not hurting people, we live in a society now. Even the small things that you believe, it might come across hurtful to certain people just because they just don't have the same view as you as well.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to be judged, and that's fine. They are going to be hurt. You're going to say something that is going to hurt somebody's feelings. I don't know if there's anything during our conversation today that would hurt anyone's feelings, but if there was, I apologize. I was not intent on hurting anyone's feelings. However, I can't just stop myself because it's going to hurt somebody's feelings, because that same thing that might have hurt your feelings, it inspired somebody else to be themselves. They're like, wow, he was willing to say that. Wow. A lot of confidence, a lot of courage, a lot of self-esteem, a lot of self-respect for him to be willing to say that. So, he said that and he went on. I think it's okay. Like, some of these like people that have went really viral, a lot of them. Recently I drafted a post and I'll post it on my Instagram, and I drafted a post recently. I've been doing like these posts about these songs on my playlist, like classic songs on my playlist, because now, I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 92. So it's like the classics, those are now going to become like a little, like some of the new age music is just, it's going to start to become old, but I still have classics on my playlist that maybe people have never heard or just don't, I think some of these are some of the best. So we should keep listening to them. Anyway, recently I've been doing like classics. Here's another classic on my playlist. This one is Forever by Drake, Kanye West, Eminem, and Lil Wayne, all on the same song. Drake starts off the song with saying, last name greatest, first name ever, last name ever, first name greatest, like a sprained ankle, boy, I ain't nothing to play with. Started off local, and thanks to all you haters, I know G4 pilots on a first name basis. And that's like that's it. That's the answer right there. Thanks to all you haters, I know G4 pilots on a first name basis. It's like even like somebody's gonna judge you, they're gonna want to share, like somebody that doesn't see the authenticity in your heart, doesn't see that you're like Funk Rice. I cannot imagine you doing anything except for giving value to others. If somebody is judging you, that person they're the kind of person that wants to share that judgment with others. They want to tell other people, oh yeah, this guy was doing this thing. Okay, well,
Mm.
that's great. Keep telling other people. Keep telling them, because now they get
Yeah.
to decide for themselves if that is worthy of judging negatively. And so keep it going. Politically correct. It's like, you know, I mean, just be true to yourself. Bottom line.
Mm. As I always say to people, as long as you are, the way I see is like I'm true to myself, and then whatever I say, I have control of whatever content I actually put out there. So whatever happened, I'm actually confident enough to stand for what I say and for what I believe.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the purpose. I mean, that's the purpose of knowing exactly what information you're actually putting out there, speaking based on your knowledge and things that you have learned based on your experience as well. So yeah, I think that's
Absolutely.
before we finish, I wanted to touch the way of, so how do you actually talk to people about what you do? When I say people, I mean like your close people, like friends, or because I feel like friends, sometimes friend doesn't give to, because I think there is one thing Rick Ross just posted today. It was like, I think he said something like, when you post something online, you're gonna see even your homeboys close to you, they're not gonna like anything after, like, you can post after 5 hours, 6 hours, nobody gonna like it. The one is the people that they don't know, people actually support. So do you feel the need to kind of like talk to people that you meet about your business, your, I mean, when I say business, I mean like as a content creator? Do you think like there is it something like we should do as a being a content creator, or we should just like shy away from that? Like,
Yeah. Like as a content creator, I just think as a human being, I want to encourage people to interact socially, develop their ability to interact socially with other people. I know a lot of, especially like men, can be very anxious, self-conscious about, like, socially anxious about interacting with women or interacting with other human beings. And the more that you are unable to interact with other human beings out in the world, the more that you're creating defenses and this fear inside yourself for expressing that content in the first place. So develop those social skills. It is really valuable and important. It develops your inner ability to have a great social game with yourself. Like, how am I talking to myself, things like this. So if you are willing enough to reach out to other people and connect with people on the street, whatever, the people that you are connecting with, those are the people that you do like you want your friends to be watching your podcast.
mm,
It's going to be friends that watch your podcast, people that are also interested in the same stuff, in the same, like everything, like all these books and stuff. This is all spiritual stuff. I really love Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn said that you can tell a lot about a man by looking at the books in his library. You can tell a lot about a man, about their leadership, about what they're feeding their mind with by looking at the books in their library. And that is the content I'm interested in. I'm interested in spirituality and research and success and investment and being a leader in my community and able to build a strong community. I'm interested in all those things. And so yeah, share your podcast, share your content. You verbally tell people, hey, this is what I guess the conversation usually with me, it comes up like this. I'll see somebody and we'll have some brief little interaction, and I'll just ask, was like, hey, do you like podcasts? If they say no, then I move on. Like they're not interested in what I do. If they say, oh yeah, sometimes I listen to podcasts, it's like, oh great, I have a podcast. It's called Great Transforms. Or if they are saying something spiritual, I tell them, hey, I'm a transpersonal psychologist. It's a really interesting field. It's a very it's not a very well known field, and it's niche. It has a lot of value. I want to share with you some of the value that I have, and that is just, hey, that's an invitation. I am asking to give you something of worth to you. Is that okay? Can I give you some value? I think that's all right. If you want to give somebody some value, we need more of that in the world.
Great, great. Thank you again. I think it was like it was very interesting to talk to you about this. I know like the topic we went left and right, but I think like it was really worth kind of like touching, all area as well. And that's why I didn't want to stick just to the podcast, but like just being a content creator as well. I know your story is quite amazing.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day you're gonna have like time to kind of talk about your past as well. Is anything that you feel like we haven't touched that you feel like people should know as well based on this conversation? Something like feel like you wanna kind of
I
like
just
share
want
with
to
people as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate one thing. I want to say you are already it. You are already the thing. Already right now, you are the thing. Now, what would that thing be doing? What would that thing would be learning? The thing that you are would be learning, would be applying, would be reaching out to other people to share, would be being generative in their community. They would be investing in their body, mind, and soul. So you're already the thing. And a piece of advice that I got when I was 17 years old on an ankle bracelet. I was on house arrest. I grew up. My mother is deaf, so she cannot hear, she cannot speak. My grandmother and grandfather are deaf as well. So I grew up kind of raising myself in a lot of ways, and there was a lot of problems with that. There was a lot of problems that I got into. My history with the law and things. So I had this person come to my house. He was a tracker. He was like my probation officer essentially, and he would come to my house every day at 8 o'clock or give me a phone call. One day, I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do for the rest of my life. He comes in and I ask him for a piece of advice. His name is Dante. Dante told me, do what you're passionate about and try to make money doing it. So the content, if you're trying to what's the niche? Well, what are you passionate about? What lights your fire? What sparks your interest? Whatever that thing is, talk about that forever. just keep putting out information, keep putting out valuable content to others that want to learn just like you, because there are a lot of people just like you out there and they need you. They need your fullest expression, and try to make money doing it. Don't shy away from the monetization of things. Making money doing it allows it to be spread further.
Yes.
It's like you build the resources, you build the organization so that more people can hear it, more people receive it, more people will get the value that you have to offer, and that is a beautiful thing. And we don't live in a scarcity world. We live in an abundant world. You can do that. So you are the thing. You are already it. And do what you're passionate about. Try to make money doing it. Try to be resourceful doing it.
Great, great, great. I mean, like, totally agree what you're saying, man. That was some good advice. I hope people are actually gonna take this into consideration. I think like the money side as well is very important because a lot of people, we create content, we are shy away to kind of like monetize it. We feel like our content is not worth people to kind of like pay for it. We don't put the price on it, and then that's I was speaking to one of my friends today. I was like, and they was asking me like, what content do you do, whatever, online. I was like, look, everything I do is actually to help people to become better, best version of themselves. But what I've noticed in all the topic I'm talking about, of course, I talk about because I'm a personal trainer as well in term of fitness. I talk about a lot of topic, but so if you notice, when people talk about anything related to sex, everything go on the roof. And that's the reason why many people that actually do a content like us, people, things that really like mindset growth, you really have to love it, because if you start talking just about sex, is like music, anything about woman naked, all that, it sells because people kind of like love it. So that's why it's so easy for you to kind of like change the direction. You like stand away from actually your purpose just because you want to follow certain trend And that's why many people, actually everybody, just kind of do the same thing because they feel like this is actually the fast growth. So this is something I've learned as well, like to kind of like stick to what you're good at, not just because something is selling, something is trending. You're gonna do it, but you're not really gonna be yourself while you're actually doing that. That's another advice I kind of like wanted to give people. I don't know if you noticed that as well. Sometimes you feel like, oh man, should I just do like, whatever everybody's talking about? Should I just do that because it's gonna work? But I don't think, we should, as you say, there is a people out there just like us. They want the information that we actually need to put out there. It's even better to talk about all this stuff, because if something everybody's already talking about, it's kind of like busy.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what we were talking about before. You can't know everything in the world, and you start creating content on every subject matter that is going viral. You'll be lost at what you actually know and what you don't really know.
Yeah.
Because some of that stuff you're creating content on it, but you haven't applied it. You haven't practiced it. That you're putting it out there, but maybe you don't really. Maybe you're not being honest with yourself. Maybe that's not the information. That's not your wheelhouse. That is not your expertise. That is not your profession. So stick with the things that you do know, but have confidence that, hey, this is information that I actually do know. It's not just anecdotal stuff. It's not just, oh, I saw this on another Instagram post, and so I should post that to my Instagram. It's none of that. It's stuff that you actually know. And get it out there for sure. People need your value. Be confident in the information that you have.
Yeah, thank you again for that. And I was just gonna tell you, are you working on something right now, Travis? Like anything that you want people to know regarding your business, like anything, if you want people to follow you. I know there is like your, I believe this is your Instagram as well.
Yep. On Instagram, Twitter, pretty much all the social medias, I'm at Mr. Trav G. I'm at Mr. Trav G. On YouTube at Gray Transforms, or on Instagram, there's an at Gray Transforms page as well. There's graytransforms.com. That is my website. You can check out the kinds of things I'm interested in there. But my podcast has a lot of valuable content, Fun Christ. If you're interested in spiritual content, there's a lot of valuable conversations that I'm having with professionals on a regular basis. I'll publish one today. And it just keeps on going. We're just getting started, and we're going to keep going.
Great. We're going to grow. We don't know where we're going, but we know that we're going somewhere amazing. So that's that's the purpose of it. And thank you again for having you today. And I appreciate for everybody who want to be in touch with Travis. Make sure on the description, and I put all the link on the description when you come to, whatever business you do, website, Instagram, everything. You guys are going to have it there as well. Make sure you follow him and subscribe to his podcast as well. If you have any question, feel free. He's going to be able to help you as well. Thank you again. And, you guys take care. Thank you.